So yeah, I think most of you guys should know theonlybaus and Knusch, but especially Knusch. I mean, he's been around for quite a while. He's been performing pretty well in most tournaments since EP. So yeah, he was seeded number 4, which is actually number 3, um, just because Haza actually forfeited the tournament. But yeah, still number 3, pretty good. And Baus is kind of surprising everyone because he's a good player for sure, but I don't think he was really expected to go as far as semifinals. But yeah, pretty good play by him so far. So this should be a pretty good series, and yeah, we do have a Brit Miro in game 1 on Mendocino, or I don't recall maybe it's Dakota, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so it's a map with lots of hunts, but there's sometimes a little bit far. Like this third hunt here might be a little bit tricky to herd. So Brits is generally speaking maybe not the ideal sieve here, also considering the TP line in the middle, which is pretty good for stagecoach sieves. Knusch getting 75 food, gonna be chased away by Boss, but well, he does get the food treasure here. So he's gonna be a little bit ahead in the food count. Also getting his real shipment quite a bit earlier, so he might have just crackshot an XP treasure in his base. I didn't see that, but yeah. Then again, Boss is also getting a food treasure now, so he shouldn't be too far behind in the age of time. Because Break Mirror is a matchup where you usually want to go for a front base with like your tower. It's like tower against tower, barracks against barracks, and if you age a veil later, it usually means you can't go front base, and if you can't go front base, you're just stuck in your base. You don't have hunts, so it's not great. So you really want to age up as fast as you can, and they both went for a market and a house, which is pretty standard, by the way. I guess they got some coin in base. And yeah, they're actually gonna age up at pretty much the same time. Knusch should be a tiny bit. Oh, actually, Boss canceling his last build to age with 15, so that's 1 build early, and I think he had to idle quite a bit, and I'm not sure if it's worth it because like Knusch is gonna be aging 10 seconds later, and he's gonna have 1 more veal. And 1 more veal means you can get more stuff done in transition. You can see he was stacking more resources, so he could get his gangsa directly. So he's gonna be able to chop wood with 1 more veal and gangsa. While the only boss is just like he's probably dropping a manor here, yeah. So he's gonna drop his manors a tiny bit earlier, but then Knusch will just like gather more overall. But at the same time, like I said, it's pretty nice to age up early as Brits in Miro, so it's good for Boss that he can age a bit earlier, I guess. Oh yeah, I need to fix the scores, damn it. Alright. And so, Boss is getting chased away. We'll be able to kill that bear. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty low HP. And so, yeah, as you can see, well, Boss is adding another manual now, but so far he wasn't only... Well, he's gonna have 3 manuals and Knusch... wait, that's a bug actually. Well, actually the boss... No, okay, Knusch's gonna have 1 more manual basically. And we do see 2 villagers going forward for boss here. So, it's gonna drop a barracks, just as expected. He does need to bring his tower wagon forward though. Yeah, so he's gonna send it forward now. Knusch is also gonna send his tower wagon forward and putting his racks a bit behind, which is kind of smart because like... Oh, actually, okay. I thought he was gonna have his outpost right there, because that way your outpost actually shoots at every single unit popping out of the barracks, which is quite nice. But in fact, Knusch is realizing that he aged a little bit later and that he should be a little bit careful here and just pull his tower and his barracks a little bit back. So yeah, at this point we do see that Knusch is still ahead by 1 Vil. And on the other hand, well, Bus actually only has a Muskin queue now, even though he was up earlier. He doesn't have any units out. So he's not even gonna get like more musketeers than Knusch at this point. Like it's basically gonna be the same. He's gonna get 4 musks, a tiny bit earlier than Knusch. But at the same time, he's not really behind in eco either. So it's really anyone's game at this point. It's pretty close. 600 would follow up for Knusch. And Boss, let's see if he goes for the greedier 5 Vils or something else. Okay, 600 wood as well. Interesting. Maybe they want to add longbows or something. Because like, if you're just going to make houses out of the wood, you might as well ship 5 Vils because it's just a better eco shipment. But yeah, maybe they want to add a second racks. But Knusch already has a second racks. And the boss... well, he might add it from the 600 wood, yeah. And here we see a bit of a fight, and I didn't quite see, but looks like Boss lost his Explorer, but he was able to kill a Musk and get some shots off on the others. So pretty good trade for Boss, I guess. Although he did lose his Explorer and give 45 XP, so it's maybe an even trade. Oh, and yeah, so Knusch is adding longbows from the wood. 5 or 10 longbows is nice in the brick mural. You usually don't want to have too many of them, but a few is fine. And yeah. Well, not much going on. Typical brick mural, both players going front base, but actually no one fighting until a while. Not my favorite matchup, not gonna lie. There's just not so much to say about it. Knusch is gonna need more Vils on coin, but now he did switch Vils to coin, so he's gonna get decent batches. He might have to sell 100 food here if he wants a good batch out. Yeah, he did, so he's gonna get 8 musks. 5 Vils for the web, pretty greedy. Same for boss, so mirror, basically mirror build order for these players here, and they... Actually, boss has 2 more manuals. But he's got less units for sure. He's got 8 less units on the field. He's got less eco for the time being, but when he gets his 5 Vils, it's gonna be even again. But yeah, he's just behind in military. Knusch is gonna siege down the houses. Not a big deal, I mean, yeah, why not? It's gonna give him a nice 81 XP for each, so it's quite a nice boost, and it's also less line of sight for boss, which means he could be a bit more vulnerable to raids later on, as he has less line of sight here, but it's definitely not like a big deal. But Knusch definitely has much more musks here, and boss has to pull back. Already got musk attack on the way because of all the XP he's got from killing the Explorer, from the Age 1 treasure, from the manor houses, while boss isn't even close to having his shipment, so... Well, I guess he's quite close. Like, when he gets this patch out, he's almost gonna have the shipment, so... Yeah. So he will get the musk attack himself, most likely. But yeah, he's just got less units right now, and he's gonna have to like buy time, but it's really hard because Knusch has some longbows, so he can actually get free kills. So it's not like boss can come in and poke and get some shots off on the musketeer mask while they are sieging. He can't do that because every time he tries to come in, Knusch can just get a volley off with his longbows, and like now you can see it's gonna just... Well, he could have killed the Musk. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. But boss still doing a good job of buying time, not losing too many units. The tower is shooting as well, so it's not like it's too bad for boss. But he just has less stuff, really. He's got 9 less units, and I don't think he can win this fight as a result. They're a little bit closer to his barracks, so maybe he's gonna be able to pop some musks and come back in the unit count. But yeah, he's just taken a pretty bad trade. Look at all the musketeers going down now. Oh, actually, that was Knusch popping musks, so he's very far ahead in military. And Boss is gonna pop 10 musks and gonna try to get us around, but some of his musks are just lagging in the back and they're not actually doing much. And this is gonna be even worse for Boss actually, and it's just pretty hard for him to win from this position because it's a mural. They both have the same eco, or basically the same eco, and now he's gonna lose his tower, his barracks, so he's gonna have to rebuild barracks. He's gonna be even further behind in the musketeer count, and I guess at this point you have to try and go for a raid or something, but it's just very hard to come back from this. So yeah, 700 coin coming in for Knusch as well. He's got so much XP from fighting and killing, I mean destroying buildings and stuff. You probably just want Musk HP, right? I don't know why he would go. He wants to age, but he doesn't need 700 coin to age, honestly. He can just switch wheels to coin, and he's got so many wheels he's gonna age easily. Musk HP is just a nice card because he's got like so many musks. But yeah. In fact, aging up is altogether a useless risk, I think, because now he's got the front base down. He's totally safe to like deny the hunts. He can just like keep making units and sit on the blue hunts. But he decides to age, and it's probably fine as well. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like Knusch is pretty far ahead, so he's gonna be okay. But you know, when you age like that, it could be an opportunity for Boss to just make up for the military gap, because he could spend all his resources and get as many units as Knusch, basically. And maybe Knusch would be out of hunts, and so that's when aging up is risky. But regardless, like Knusch is just killing more musks, so Boss is just no units on the field. He's got a nice eco, but really no units. So. He's got the second musk upgrading, but almost no musks, so he might kill a veal now. Ah well, musk popping here as well. And like Boss is trying to buy time, maybe like he was trying to run around and buy time so he doesn't just die, you know, but in fact, what he doesn't know is that he's trying to buy time, but Knusch is aging, so it's not gonna buy him anything. Knusch is very happy to just run around and chase the musks and kill some musks for free while he's aging himself. But now Boss coming in with a nice raid here. Gonna kill 2 veals, I think. Maybe 3. Okay, 2 veals. And yeah, Knusch is getting more XP from sieging down the shrines.
I am sorely grieved. I may not.
More musks gonna die there. I think he wanted to pull them back, but because of the cliff, they just went around this way and they got picked off. And that's when Boss knows he's in trouble. Well, he might be able to make something happen if he can tank with veals and he's got double carded musks. But, I mean, yeah, realistically, it's not possible. Like, Knusch is just gonna get veterancy, 2 falconets, and musk combat. And, yeah, great. And, yeah, so they're boss fighting here. Maybe a little bit early for Knusch, but he's just got more stuff, right? So he doesn't care. But yeah, ideally you want to wait for your 2 falconets to pop and your veterancy to come in, but it doesn't even matter at this point. He's just got more stuff, so he's just gonna win the fight regardless. And Boss is stuck in H2, and he's got big batches of reinforcements, but It's just such an inferior army he's got. He's got a bit more eco, but it doesn't matter. Knusch is just so far ahead. Oh, I really dislike the 9 Musketeers though. Musketeer combat is such a good card.
Yes. Commanderman, ready.
Yeah, and boss is just gonna quit. Like, you can see the Musketeers coming, he's probably gonna lose all the vehicles. There's 2 Falconets as well. So yeah, GG. Oh yeah, I need to... Right, that's better. Actually, that's not so much better. This is better. Okay. So let's have a quick look at the post-game stats. We do see that Knusch was a little bit ahead in eco at first. And then Boss sort of like invested in eco himself and got slightly ahead, but at the cost of having just way less units constantly. And then he was just taking bad trades. I mean, look at this. It looks like Knusch is basically losing no single unit here, while Boss is just, you know, trickling Musk, like 3 Musk here, 1 there. And plus he's getting less units out. So at the end of the day, Knusch just had an advantage and he took 1 good fight, and honestly it was kind of over at this point. And Knusch just stayed ahead, and yeah, GG. Actually out gathering somehow. Maybe you ship more crates or something. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe market upgrades. Alright, so let's move on to game 2. And so, now we do have game 2 of the Legacy Tournament semi-finals indeed. And map is gonna be Korea, I think. So Adirondax. And Knusch had to pick first, so he went for Dutch. And Boss countered with Spain, which is a very good counterpick to Dutch for sure. This map is not the ideal Spain map. You don't have any stagecoach potential. I mean, not a very good one at least. But regardless, Spain is just very good against Dutch. Even if you don't have a stagecoach, they are very, very good. So definitely agree with that pick. Finding 75 wood directly as well. I think he should not go back though. At this point, you're in the middle. You just drop this TP there. And so, because now he's like going back all the way to his base, which is awkward. And he's anyway gonna miss the XP. While if he built the TP there, he would get the next XP a little bit earlier, and he would have more time to take treasures. Like, he could be there. Maybe Knusch now is going to be able to get this treasure because Boss is in his base. So you see, it can snowball pretty quickly, and that's a small mistake, but worth pointing it out, I think. Anyway, he's going to have a safe TP at least. Maybe he's afraid of 8 pikes or something like that, so he wants it in his base. But yeah. Anyway, getting 75 wood is pretty good for Spain. I need to actually toggle the stuff. Alright. And yeah. Knusch is finding 75 food, pretty nice. Boss actually gonna micro that wood treasure as well. Pretty greedy, but it's gonna pay off. I mean, this is risky because he's taking his time to micro it, so it's gonna take a long time, and it's right in the middle. It's even right next to a trading post, so that means you get XP out of... sorry, I mean, you get line of sight out of spotting that trading post. So you would expect Knusch to know about this treasure, basically. And this was risky, but it pays off, because now it's going to be a second wood treasure for Boss. So he's got a shipment already, thanks to that TP. He's going to H15, most likely, because of the wood treasure he's got. And then he's gonna have more wood to do more stuff in transition, like maybe a second TP, maybe a market. Can be quite nice for Spain. Meanwhile, Dutch is going for the standard 15 age up. He did go for a market here, which is a little bit slower. It might delay his bank a bit. I'm not a big fan of it unless you get very nice like wood or coin treasures. I'm usually not a huge fan of the age 1 market as Dutch, but yeah, it's not bad. Gonna work on herding his hunts. Spain gonna find another nice 75 coin treasure as well, so it could help him for his FF if he's gonna FF, which is kind of what we expect. He's gonna need to mine a bit less coin to age, so it could be nice. And so now he's chopping, he's sending a wheel forward to get that food. And he's chopping, so I wonder, I guess it's gonna be for a second trading post. I think he's gonna head towards the middle now, yeah, exactly, and just stop chopping wood and switch maybe 1 or 2 wheels to coin and build that second TP there. Might be able to kill that envoy. Oh, actually, the explorer is right there, so never mind. He's gonna have to pull back. Meanwhile, Knusch in his base is just being Dutch, and he's gonna get his bank. But like I said, because he went for the market, you can see he's getting his bank late, and he even has to mine still a bit of coin to get his wheel out. So he's not gonna get his bank until his age, which is a little bit suboptimal maybe. And he also doesn't. Well, he will have basically a wheel on queue, but yeah. So aging with the 400 wood, of course. Not queuing a wheel though. That's a bit of idle time here. Very aggressive tower. I feel like you kind of want your tower to be here just because you've got the middle TP. So this is still a good spot for a tower, and it also defends your TP, so it's quite nice. But this is also a good placement. It's going to be able to pressure the hunts a little bit more easily maybe. So what does Knusch know? He knows there's 2 TPs. Now he's gonna see the tower, I think. Oh. Actually, boss hiding the tower. Barely out of line of sight, holy shit. Knusch got 2 banks, his ship 700 wood, he's gonna add another bank, and going bank wagon, so very standard Dutch build, but maybe a little bit greedy against Spain. Usually you don't get like that many banks most of the time. Like you either get less banks and age earlier, or you ship like 8 pikes and deny the tower so you have more time to survive, you know. But now he's just going full greed. He might even go 5 banks, which is like extremely greedy against Spain. He doesn't know about that tower, so that's good for Boss. Boss is finally aging. Well, I'm saying finally, but that might just be a standard age up time. Well, he's gonna be up at like 7:30, which is a bit late. You can be up at 7:15. So it's a tiny bit late, maybe Miss Macro or something. That's why I kind of like, instead of taking a second TP in transition, I kind of like to build a market and get hunting dogs. Because having the market is always nice. You're anyway gonna get it as Spain at some point. And getting hunting dogs mean you actually don't age any later. So he could be up like 15 seconds earlier with the market. But instead, he's got a TP, which means with that second TP, he's probably going to be able to, if he wants to, ship 7 rods now or something. But that would be for a very aggressive play. 7 rods or 8 pikes, and then Falconet's first card. Let's see, he's stacking lots of food. So I'm curious to see which units he's going to go for. Yeah, rods is what you expect against Dutch, because musketeers would be kind of rubbish. But rods do pretty well. He could go stagecoach, but that's not very good on this map, so he's just not gonna do it, and I think that's the right play. And so he doesn't go for the extra shipment. He would still have a shipment ready in age 3 because like he's gonna get XP now. So he would have a second shipment, but he decides to keep the card. So he's gonna have like basically 3 shipments back to back now in age 3. He's gonna have 1 and 2, and then after he's shipped 2 of them, he's gonna have a third back to back. And that's gonna be a big timing. So at around, I don't know, let's say 9 minutes 30 or something like that, he should get 3 shipments in plus the batches, and he could have a huge push. But maybe he wants to actually rush a little bit more aggressively than that. He's getting a house though. He needs another house. He needs to get Gangsa and chop some wood with like 5 wheels or something. Maybe he's got Gangsa already. No, he does. So rods and house going forward. Knusch is aging, so yeah, he did go for 4 banks. He did not go for the full grid, so he's aged up not too late. And now he's gonna spam Ritters, like the double Ritter spam, which is kind of a classic against Spain. It just doesn't work that well anymore because nowadays Spain can just get Spanish gold if they want, and then they can get a big mass of skirms and rods, and going pure Ritter is kind of bad. But at least for the time being, Ritters are gonna be great. He might want to add more units later on. Because like Boss, yeah, he's actually going for Spanish gold there and 1k wood, so he's gonna get a second barracks. But I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of Spanish gold like that against Dutch. Spanish gold is more of like a follow-up in this matchup, but you don't want to open Spanish gold just because you want to be able to pressure Dutch a bit. And so actually gonna donate 5 rods for free, that's kind of huge. And he's just stacking a lot of resources, but yeah, and now because he's lost the rods, he's also gonna lose the skirms. He's gonna try to hold with like Huss, but he's just gonna donate Huss as well. So this is looking like a rough game for Boss so far. He's just losing all his units for free, essentially. I don't know if he's even killed 1 Ritter so far. Maybe 1. Yeah, 1, maybe 2. So yeah, that's very unfortunate for him. He's gonna pop more skirms, but they're gonna die again. Or maybe Knusch is... Well, he's gonna go for it, yeah. He's gonna be forced to ship rods. And he's got 1000 wood, which he doesn't even use, because he's just too busy, like, trying to save his units. And so the 1000 wood is completely useless, and there's another big batch of Ritters coming in. Knusch gonna get probably 8 skirms. Actually, even going for 1000 wood, he feels comfortable going for the wood because he's done so much damage here, killing so many units, and so he feels like he can just follow up with the 1000 wood here, just get his last bank. I think we'll see very soon a bank being dropped. Can get steel traps and stuff like that. Vet house maybe, a barracks. Rod's trying to catch the Ritters and trying to protect the skirms. This is not too bad of a trade for Boss so far. But yeah, I mean... Boss really trying to get the most out of his units. It's not easy when Knusch has like twice the mass. And Knusch is like, okay, now it's time to stop. I know he's gonna pop like 10 skirms soon. Well, actually he's not, but he might be popping 10 skirms. So Knusch is like, okay, I don't need to actually keep fighting here. I can just go and raid. So Dutch is gonna be completely idled. And Ritters are actually pretty tanky against TC Fire because you need, I believe, 3 shots to kill them. Yeah. And they're pretty cheap, so they're pretty good at idling. Rods are gonna try to get a catch. They're gonna be veteran. Okay, he's gonna pull back because he knows he just can't fight that. 8 rods being shipped, not the greatest shipment, but it's kind of what he needs now against the Ritters. It's just a shame that Boss, you know, he wasted all these units early and it snowballed from there. I think it would be okay now if he didn't lose all these units for free. Also lost the wheel here. So yeah, boss is gonna start to spam musketeers from 2 barracks. And he's gonna get lancers, which is questionable to say the least. Okay, he's gonna cancel and send... Yeah, falconets is the best option, I think. Even against Reuters, like, if they wanna kill you falconet, they have to go in. And if they go in to kill falconets, you kill a lot of Reuters. So it's still a good trade for you. So going falconets here makes sense. And it makes even more sense because actually Knusch is going falconets himself, so boss needs falcons to answer that. But yeah, it's gonna be tough because Knusch is gonna get 3 falcons out, and there's nothing for boss to deal with 3 falcons here. But here you can see why this matchup is so good for Spain, right? I mean, boss has lost so many units for free, and he didn't even pressure Dutch. But he's still like kind of okay. Well, I guess he's not quite okay, but you know, game is not over yet. Like he's still, well, he needs to be very careful not to delete so many skirms. But like boss still, you know, if he gets more rods, like he's got a solid mass of rods, he might be able to just go in and Z move the Falks and the Ritters with his own Falconets behind shooting at the Falks and the skirms shooting at the Ritters. And at the end of the day, the unit composition is just better for boss. So like all boss really needs here is to win one fight. He just needs to crush this fight. But he's actually going in already. Envoy's being traded to tank. And I don't know about that. I mean, Falconet's lagging in the back, just not doing anything. Ah, missing the rod batch. This is huge. He could have gotten 10 rods out. And yeah, this is not going well for boss, just because, you know, he went in too early. Like, he needed to get his own Falconets in position and to pop 10 more rods, and he would have been maybe okay. And now the Falconets will go down, and I think this is pretty much GG at this point. Because now, yeah, Spain is just already too far behind. Spain is too far in military. And he's gonna pop rods, but Knusch can just move that. Well, rods will kill a few Ritters, but yeah. So that tower will be sieged down, and Knusch can just train more Falconets, and then there's really nothing boss can do about it. And boss is popping skirms. Does Dutch? I think he's got Cav combat, right? Yeah, he does, which makes sense because he's going to kill Cav, so that's good for him. And that's also why that fight was quite hard to win for boss, because like all the Cav, like almost all of the Red Army had Cav combat on them. And boss is still holding the map, you know, so like eventually Knusch would be out of food, even though he does have some hunts here. So he could still do pretty good with like skirm and rods against basically only Ritters. The real problem is that Knusch is gonna bring another 2 Falconets behind, and there's really nothing Spain can do about it just now. Knusch gonna ship 7 skirms now. Boss getting 5 Huss. Oh, and he knows about this because of his envoy here, so he's gonna get a free volley as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, this mass of cab is just completely, well, it's not even a mass, just these few cab units, unupgraded as well, aren't gonna do anything against this Rito mass, really. I think he might as well just raid with them at this point, because like they're not gonna do anything in the fight. Outpost going down. Boss, yeah, he's gotta just make like pure rods at this point. Like just get rod combat and make only rods and try to get a huge set move. But yeah, the game is looking pretty bad for boss. And Boss trying to go for a flank, but he's just gonna delete his cav. So like half the cav mass has been down already, which is really not what he needed. Rod's popping though in a nice spot, but he needed Rod combat and more of them. It's just too many units anyway. Knusch has got the arsenal upgrades as well for the Ritters and the Hussars. So, well, not for the Hussars actually. GG. So pretty one-sided game, not gonna lie. Just Boss losing all his units at start, which is exactly what you don't want against Dutch, because you want to be able to constantly apply pressure against Dutch, Spain, and if you just delete your units like that, well, you've lost the game essentially. Like, he really needed to get skirms earlier so he could hold the Ritters. Also, aging at 735 is not the greatest as Spain. Like I said, you could age around here. And being up like 20 seconds earlier would make a huge difference against this Ritter mass here. But yeah, Spain was still able to remass. But he really just needed more rods, I think. And rod combat at some point. Instead of like 5 lancers, which were completely useless anyway. Just remass. But yeah, he had a pretty good mass there, but just not enough. Not really being outbound so much, considering how much Dutch had to invest into banks. So yeah. Again, it really came down to losing these units at start, because like it was a close game other than that, but Boss just put himself so far behind at the start. Alright, so 2-0 for Knusch. By the way, guys, make sure you check out the Tag Cafe app, which is like an app you can use for coffee shops and stuff, and they are kindly sponsoring us for this tournament. So yeah, very nice of them, and make sure you check out their website. All right, game 3 now. So now, tough spot for Boss. He has to pick first. And he's going for Russia on Pampas Sierras, which is a pretty standard pick. But Knusch is gonna counterpick with India, and India is just really good on this map. You get all the llamas, and Russia doesn't have a trading post, which is maybe it's not. You don't always want a TP as Russia, but it can be nice, and you will not get one. And India also likes to have a TP, but it's okay because they get the llamas instead. So yeah, the bus just rushing the llamas on the side. That's a useless treasure essentially. And Boss is just not going for a market or anything, just going for the good old gather your food and age. Might want to... Yeah, okay. He's gonna hurt that under his TC nicely. Knusch also just going to make a house and train bills and age up, nothing fancy. And so, yeah, India's got 5 llamas already, and he could get to 6 here. He doesn't know about it, unfortunately, but yeah. So you're getting like 6 llamas to 2 for Russia, which is quite good. And it's kind of what you expect as India because of the 2 monks. They have 5 speed as well. So yeah. So none of these players have taken any treasure yet, I think. And they're gonna revolve around this 90 food, and I think Boss didn't see the elephant, so it's gonna be very unfortunate for him. He needs to be careful. I mean, this is exactly in the middle of the map. Like, you kind of expect your opponent to know about it. However, the good thing is that you know India doesn't have a crack shot, so you know you're kind of safe to micro that because he's just not gonna be able to snipe that wolf easily. But yeah, now he knows it's the monks are there, and he's just gonna finish the treasure. Nicely done by Boss there, getting the snipe, and he's gonna be able to age up quite early. He could even eat the llama, I think. He kind of needs it, maybe. Also, this is running low on food. Yeah, you kind of need to eat the llama here, so you age really fast, and then you can rush India, maybe. Okay, he's gonna eat one. Tiny bit late, but it's good enough, I guess. Would have like 3 more bills than that. But yeah, he's gonna age at a decent time. You know, Knusch is about to age himself. He needs to drop his aggro fort. Okay, he's gonna drop it here. It's a decent spot. It's a bit out of the TC fire, but it's not like it's easy to siege down an aggro fort. So he's taking a bit more risks by having his aggro a bit further away from his TC, but at the same time, it's also covering like this choke here, so it's quite nice. So he's gonna secure this hunt a little bit more easily and secure that coin mine as well. So it's still a pretty good aggro fort placement. Boss is gonna go for the standard forward blockhouse, and he's getting that hunt as well. Or he's not actually, but he should. Dropping a market here in transition, a little bit greedy. So we're not gonna see an all-in play, I guess. He's just gonna get hunting dogs now and stop chopping wood.
Здравствуйте.
Knusch is he's got his 5 llamas, still 1 uncontested on the map. He's dropping a market as well, so he's gonna block a bit more. Covered by the aggro fort. Oh, that's cheeky. He's gonna wall up. He's gonna wall India in, actually. 5 cars coming in for Russia, pretty standard. But he's not quite going for the straight at follow-up. Usually, like, you just gather your crates and get 10 straight ats out. But looks like, well, he's not gathering his crates at all. And, okay, now he is. And I'm curious to see if he's gonna just go musketeers. But looking at his macro, I mean, either he's going steel traps or he wants musks. Okay, he wants steel traps, so that's good, but his batch of straight ats is gonna be pretty late. And that kind of sucks because now you've got like 2 sepoys in the aggro fort, and the Cossacks are just not gonna do anything, right? So that's unfortunate because you kind of want your straight ats at the same time as the Cossacks, so you can snipe the sepoys and he's gonna go in, well, go around actually. But this is just giving so much time to India already. You kind of want to pressure India as fast as possible. Because they age a little bit late, so you really want to abuse that window. Oh, that Vil though is gonna go down. But yeah, 5 Gorkhas, elephants, aggro fort, 2 sepoys, TC fire. There's just more than enough to defend this. And Boss only now has his 10 straight that's coming, and he's gonna go in again. He's nicely gonna use the Explorer to snare. That's what you always want to do when you're pushing it like that. But I feel like Knusch is just gonna get a second batch of units. He's actually gonna call Minutemen now. And these guys are gonna connect to the Cossacks. Big stomp here, very annoying mechanic if you ask me. 1 sepoy was still alive. And yeah, 2 elephants gonna be alive on top of the straight ats. That one Cossack is being snared by the pike here, and this is not what you want as Russia here. Losing all his traders to the elephants is unfortunate. You already kind of want your 10 traders earlier, and he would have been able to do much more. But yeah, now Bas is pulling back. He's got 10 more traders, but on their own, they're just not gonna do much. He's got 700 wood, I think, so he's gonna be able to maybe add a second blockhouse in a stable. To be fair, he does have steel traps, so he's down 3 bills compared to India, but he's got better market upgrades, I guess. But India is now getting the wood trickle, which is something Russia can't get. And he's now able to add Zamburaks as well. So in a couple minutes, India is going to have a very strong unit composition, and it's going to be very hard for Russia to deal with it. That's really cheeky. So he's covering the middle, the main choke, with his 2 blockhouses and just walling up the sides. So basically, India can't raid him at all. And we do see 700 coin coming in for Boss, so he might just be going for a Cossack timing. He's got a stable here. He has steel traps as well. And, I mean, placer mines as well. Oh, finding the llama, actually deleting it, which I don't really understand, because he's got a wall here, so you could just put it behind the wall. So yeah, just adding more musketeers and Cossacks. And probably gonna have timing push with 4 Cossacks or 13 Strelets maybe. While Knusch is just making more Zamburaks and Gorka. I don't think he's got the villagers from the consulate, or maybe he did. He doesn't have pass. He did get the vills, so that's really greedy. Usually against Russia, you kind of want a batch of gardeners, but like you want gardeners, and then you also have Minutemen available on top of that if you need them. But if you go vills, it means you can only get either Minutemen or gardeners in like 1 minute. Or, well, like 30 seconds you will be able to get them actually. Going for this card as well, so really greedy play. He's only gone for eco cards so far, really. Like, wood trickle, 700 wood, 300 export for the villagers, and now camel attack. So he could have gone for like 4 sowars just to be safe, but Knusch is a pretty greedy player, so he decided to go for this. And it might just pay off. If he can stay in the chokes here and defend, he's gonna be fine. Russia doesn't have a lot of cav as well. He needs to sell a bit of food. Yeah, he's gonna complete his batch, so that's good. And he's gonna start pushing out. 13 Strelets will join shortly. He's just got enough mass to scare away these sowars, and I think with the 11 Cossacks and all these Strelets, I think actually this is a good fight for Russia. He needs to just go in. Come on. Look at the military. Like, he's got so much more stuff. Even though the Indian units are better, and he can still call Minutemen or get Gardeners maybe. But like, I think Russia maybe missed his chance to clean this up. Like, he could totally just go in here and clean up, right? But instead now he's gonna have to push in the choke, and that's just gonna be so much worse for him than pushing in the open field. So he's gonna try to buy time with Strelets while he's sieging with musketeers here, killing the couple Minutemen as well. Gonna bring his Cossacks maybe, or just get the house down. And now looks like Knusch is going in. But I don't know, Boss is kiting and just killing lots of sowars here. He's also losing some units, to be fair. I think he needs to stop sieging this house, like, just fight and go in with Cossacks. That was not a good trade for Russia. He does snipe the elephant at least. But yeah, that was a pretty good trade for India, especially considering he's getting away with booming so much and getting the 2 cav upgrades now. While Russia, you know, Russia committed to shipping units and crates. He doesn't have boyars yet. He's nowhere near aging or anything like that, so it's gonna be pretty tough. I think he really wants boyars now, actually. He's got 17 Cossacks. Yeah, okay, he's gonna go for boyars. That's a good decision. But yeah, I mean, it's still Russia, you know. India is very strong in this matchup and stuff, but Russia has been buffed recently and they scale just better than before. So in this kind of game where you get to the 12 minutes mark and stuff like that, where you get boyars, you just have more vills than you used to. You make vills faster and you just scale a little bit better. And this is just not a very big India mass. Basri just needs to go in with his Cossacks. Like, he's just wasting so many units waiting, but... Like, he could totally go in. He's got boyars and, like, so many units here. Just take a fight. Like, just go in, take a fight. And you win. You win the... Maybe not the game, but you win the fight. It's got so much stuff, like... And Sowars, like... Knusch needs a bit more Zembraks, but he's got mostly Sowars here, and these just aren't very good here. There's only a few Streelets, and Sowars kind of suck against everything else. Okay, but now Bus is going in. Okay, so we've got the big fight. Musketeers coming on the side. Pretty good positioning for Bus here, actually. Getting all his Cossacks on top of the cab. All the Musks flanking, just like connecting to the cab. And this is gonna be a pretty good fight for Bus, I think. He's got still a bunch of Cossacks alive. And that's why as India, you don't want to go Sawar against Russia. You want to go Gorkha Zem and then you add Sawar later. Because at first what you want to do is to keep hit and running constantly. Like, you want to kite. You can't go in with Sawars against Boyar Cossacks. Like, that's just a nice way to delete them, essentially. But yeah, regardless, India, you know, he's still got some units here. But, like, this is gonna be a huge mass from Russia. Look at this. He's gonna have a batch of 9. Okay, 8, because he missed the batch. 8 Cossacks popping. He could just trap this. Like, imagine if Russia just went around here and sent all his Cossacks there. You just catch all this army. You can bring some more Cossacks from the back and flank. He needs to just go in, really. He could split his Cossacks in 2 groups and just flank and catch this easily. But Bus, you know, he's down 2-0, maybe not too confident. He's like, okay, what if I just go in and delete my army? But, I mean, mate, he's got walls here as well, so imagine how good it would be to go in. India can't retreat, he can't escape there. It's walled up, so just push, like, just go in. But actually, India is gonna go in. No, okay, he's gonna pull back. Okay, this might be go time for Russia. Well, Zembraks are really good against Cav for sure. But that's a lot of... Ah, he's going back. Yeah, so he's just wasted like 5 Cossacks for nothing. He needs much more Streelets as well. He's already got so many masks, you don't want to get more of them. Just get Streelets, chop some wood and get like 30 extra Streelets and then you can really take a fight. I feel like Knusch might be aging. Actually, he's going for Tiger Claws, okay. I feel like he could have not shipped that and just not made dispatch of units and he could have aged now. And he would have been fine to age because of the chokes. Some rage puts to block as well. Interesting. Not sure that's so great, but yeah. Couple of vills here that could be killed by boss. He should know about them. And boss is kind of missing age H1 cards. Like he's got 12 Opries, which is like a card you probably never send in your life, right? But he could have like Cav HP. 10% HP on so many Cossacks would be by no means bad. He could have Eco Theory, which is also good when you have 44 bills. Basically, these two cards are missing in his deck. Like, you don't really want 12 uppers there. But yeah, anyway. Knusch just sniping more Cossacks here. Boss being a little bit sloppy with his unit control, which is a bit surprising because he's done very well in the previous series in terms of unit control, but now it's just falling apart. Look at all these Cossacks being picked up for free, and the Tiger Claws coming as well, and Boss needs to just kite away. He's got enough mass to kill that. It's no big deal, but problem is he's lost half his Cossack mass already. He had like 23 of them, and he's got 12. And all the Gorkhas are shooting away on the Musketeers. And Boss is just not shooting, just shoot. This is a bit disappointing play by Boss. He was like playing so well recently, and now you see he's just giving constantly like 3 more Cossacks for free. And I think this is the turning point in this game. I think this was anyone's game really so far. I would have even said it was a little bit Russia favored. I think he could have cleaned up the fight. But now, now this is probably the turning point where you just don't kill this army, right? Especially because he's got the wrong units, like so many Musks. But these Musks, they're just not doing anything against Volkas and Zembraks here. But Boss is gonna pop 10 Stridets in the choke, but they're popping right in the cav. Like he kind of needed to pop them in the back. They're gonna get cleaned up instantly. And this is just not a very good positioning for Boss. Like he's got the Stridets dying. He's got just Musketeers in front getting sniped by the Gorkhas. The Cossacks just not really doing much. Stridets popping. But yeah, I don't see Russia coming back from this fight. Alright, yeah, so sorry for that. Whoops. So looks like I was just away from a second and the Boss resigned. But yeah, well, it was pretty much over at this point. He would lose his front base. Then he's got like 12 wheels on this hunt here. And he's just got wheels everywhere on the map. So yeah, GG, 3-0 already for Knusch. So looking tough for Boss at this point. But yeah, he already did miss his chains, I think. We'll see that. Like, look at this mess. I know it's Russian units, which are cheap and stuff, but there were a lot of Cossacks as well, and Cossacks are 1 pop. So like, he needed to clean up a fight here, but instead, even though he got a pretty bad start, I think. But like, he was still okay to clean a fight here. But then he wasted and just didn't really take any very good trades. Well, they were decent trades, but it should have been better for him. Like, I think he could have cleaned up here. And then, eventually, that one fight was just terrible for Russia, and he's lost everything there. Meanwhile, the eco was really close. Russia just has a little bit more eco than before, and it feels like it's enough to compete with a lot of Civs now. Alright. Yeah, also India idled a bit because he was being pushed, so he lost the wheel, and he didn't make wheels constantly, so Russia sort of did a little bit of eco damage. Although he also did not get constant batches of wheels out, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah. GG. So that's 3-0 for Knusch.